This is Smoking Out the Closet. Now, here are your hosts, Alex and Rayven Greer.
Hi, I'm Alex Greer. My pronouns are they, them. I'm smoking on Seven Hills Lemon Kush today.
Hi, I'm Rayven. My pronouns are she, her, and today I'm smoking on Insa's Runts Flower.
And welcome back to Smoking Out the Closet.
So, you dyed my hair the other day, and I seen something recently that got me fucking hot-blooded, so, time for me to get up on my high horse.
Alright. Strap in, people.
Doing research on Virginia, making sure it was legal. Virginia is legal for cannabis use. Right now it's not sales or gifting, if I remember correctly, but you're allowed to grow 4 plants per household. And, 4 plants per household, and you're allowed to smoke it. As long as you're 21 or older. This woman went to court in Landon County, Virginia, which is up north near D.C. Not an area I really went to growing up as a kid. I was more on the very, very south side. Woman goes to domestic court because she is a victim of domestic abuse. And I guess there was the prosecutor or one of the lawyers brought up something about drug use because that was a big stipulation in the court case. And I was rereading this earlier. And basically, she answered, yes, she's been using cannabis. You know, it helps her with a lot of her nerves. It's probably, early in for the nerves of the case and everything. Because you gotta be scared out of your mind seeing a domestic abuser in a courtroom like that sometimes.
Yeah, that's a very tense and nervous and nerve-wracking situation to be in, because especially depending on what happened, like, not to trigger anybody, you might be afraid to be there. Like, most people aren't, gonna go all gung-ho into reporting their abuser, because it just doesn't really work that way.
So this article that I'm referencing is on VirginiaMercury.com. The article is titled, Virginia Judge Jails Alleged Domestic Violence Victim for Smoking Pot on Day of Court Testimony. No, not treated with respect or sensitivity or dignity required by law, by Annette Oliver. So, basically reads, a judge in Landon County interrupted the testimony of an alleged victim in a felony domestic violence trial to question her about drug use. He ends up sentencing her to 10 days in jail for contempt of court after she admitted under oath that she had used cannabis earlier that day. 10 days in jail, and then was physically removed from the witness stand by multiple deputies.
The thing that irritates me the most about this, folks, is that this isn't his first time doing something like this. They later on in the article explain of how this guy has jailed people for totally legitimate, legal cannabis use. There was no proof that they were under the influence when they came into the courthouse, and this isn't his first time doing it, and he's just getting away with it. Like, he is unjustifiably jailing these people. It's near the end. Like, he's unjustifiably jailing these people whenever they come in because of admitting prior, technically legal cannabis use, because it's legal recreationally.
That must have been a different article I was reading.
You sent me the article through Facebook. And I remember reading, I was skimming over it, and I was looking, like, what are the high points of this article, stuff like that, things that stuck with me. That is something that stuck with me.
That must not have stuck with me, but then again, I'm also really stoned.
Yeah, you're also smoking something you haven't smoked before, so.
True, this is an awesome strain, but back to my anger. This weed's calming me down too fucking much. I need my anger. This asshole, Circuit Court Judge James P. Fisher.
If you're listening to this, fuck you.
Fuck you. And the thing, prosecutors said that the woman, according to her prosecutors, either for the domestic abuser or one of the sets of lawyers, literally says that the victim did not appear intoxicated, served 2 days in jail before she was released on a $1,000 bond. And meanwhile, the case against her abuser, who was facing third-degree domestic violence charge, the judge is declaring a mistrial because of her cannabis use. This is fucking bullshit. First off, it's fucking reefer madness probably being at play here. Second of all, the victim is never identified with a name, age, ethnicity, any sort of background or career or anything. She's just referred to as the victim. So, there might be some bigotry and bias put into here. I'm not saying there is beyond the cannabis stuff, but there might be. And it's bullshit when Virginia's a legal state now.
This leads me into somebody I actually started following on my new weed Instagram, folks. I am 420NB on Instagram, putting a self-plug in here. But I follow these guys, and they're called Pot Brothers at Law. And it's his older brother and his younger brother, and they take court cases like this and analyze them. If somebody has been using cannabis, recreationally, medically, how it's fully legal across the board in California, they take on these cases of, hey, I got fired for this because they still popped me on a drug test. Hey, I lost my job because of this. Somebody denied me housing in the state of California because I used legal recreational marijuana, because there's still a lot of stuff like that's gray out there. So these guys, they got together, they're brothers, they get together and they practice law and they defend these people. Like this woman in Virginia. I wish there was somebody in Virginia like this that would be able to stand up for them. Yeah. Also, shout out to you guys, Pot Brothers at Law. You guys are kind of cool. I've been looking at your page recently.
Yeah, it's ridiculous and totally unjustified. Totally unjustified when Virginia's been legal for a couple months now. Get your shit. I am disappointed in you. I am a Virginian. Get your shit together. Okay, so that was my high horse for the beginning part, and I really hope there's a GoFundMe or something for this woman, or something that she has good, representation. That's the word I was looking for.
Actually, where you were asking about was slightly down from that whenever you were talking about how long she got, after she was released from 2 days with her bond and everything. It was slightly down after that they started talking about the judge and his history of doing this kind of thing. But yeah, that ground my gears so bad, because I think I just had gotten home from work, or I was at work at, my one job that's kind of slow. I could sit on my phone a bit, but
oh, okay, I see.
I saw it and got livid. And yeah, it wasn't, because usually the way these articles are structured is it's okay, we're going to talk about the main thing, the main person, what the main event, the main whatever's going on. And then at the end, we're giving you a little bit of history. So say if it's a street fair or something, they're here's the history of the area and what all's been going on here, whatever. That's what they do with those court cases too, of hey, this is who's on trial, this is what's happening. Here's a background of the judge.
He had a divorce lawyer jailed overnight in 2020 after finding her in contempt of court during a hearing, which she asked him to clarify a ruling. What kind of sexist bull fucking honky fucking bullshit is this guy? Fuck him.
He sounds like he should be one of those people that is down in Texas about, shit like that.
No, keep in mind, I know I said honky. I am white, as all get out. If that offended anybody, I am sorry. I don't think it should, though, considering the both of us are about 50 Shades of Mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Which, I don't want to overspeak for anybody who is a person of color, but this is just, so we're out here and everything, we don't speak for everybody in the cannabis community. If someone corrects us about it, we'll definitely, make amends in another, the next episode or something, or online. Because I'm probably going to mess up on certain things that I might not even be aware is an issue.
Going back to your joke comment, I feel like white people is the group that it's totally okay to make fun of from any angle. Like, it doesn't matter who you are as a person, like, where your ethnicity is located, you're allowed to make fun of white people. White people's free game. It's like crocodile season in Florida. Just kill them, get them out of your way. Like, kill them with laughter. Not, like, literally, that's still a crime, obviously. But no, what I'm trying to say here is, like, we're white people. We can make fun of white people. I feel like anybody else is okay to make fun of white people, too.
Now, one thing I do want to point out there, for those of you here in Pennsylvania who are listening, PA is having a CannaFest on October 2nd and 3rd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Unfortunately, we are unable to make it because we are both working those days.
It's like it ends at 6 and we get off at like 4 or 5, so even if we ran over there, it's like a half an hour. Definitely not enough time to enjoy a really good, activity like this. And the guys from Greenbridge Society that hooked me up with my medical card, they're over in Tyrone. I love them. No way sponsored, but I just want to shout those guys out. I throw people their way whenever they're like, I want to get my card, but it's so hard. And these guys make it super easy. They're going to be there. They're actually who we heard about the festival through. Because the one guy from the Greenbridge will be there and doing like live certificates. You get like is it a THCA strain or was it a CBD?
I think it was
strain?
CBD.
It was CBG actually. It was a CBG. You get a gram of CBG flower to take home with you, and yeah, go support those guys if you're in the area.
But yeah, that's in. I'll put in the show notes a link to the Facebook page for it, the event, because that's I guess where everyone's kind of gathering through. It's in Renninger's. Renninger.
Renninger.
Renninger?
Yeah. Renninger.
Okay. Renninger's Farmers Market in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. So, that's like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, Cannabis Fest in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Okay, so I also wanted to update the audience on the PA grow laws. We were close. You were actually really, really close. You were double guessing yourself, but you were actually right. It was the House that passed it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if when this country was forming, if we mimicked the state basis of government for like state Congress, or if the federal government was copied for the states. But there is a House and a Senate for each state. And they were kind of the head honchos underneath the senator and the congressman, I believe. So the Pennsylvania grow law passed the House, but was stopped by the Republican-controlled Senate that will allow personal growth of any cannabis plant in the state. But they did reinstate that 90-day supply for cannabis that was originally set for COVID. That has been extended. As of right now, it seems like indefinitely.
Which is pretty great, because, sometimes people might not have, the money every month to be able to go out. They'll save for 2 months, go out, and then they can buy that 2 months supply at a time, instead of, I'm going to buy 30 days supply, well crap, I don't have money, I need to go get gas.
Or groceries.
Or, something. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I really liked it when I saw that. I was like, okay, cool, more weed. I take more dank nugs. This is awesome. Oh, can I say in passing?
Yeah.
About our story last time we went to the dispensary.
Oh
my lord. Okay, so listen. It was what? An average Tuesday?
Yeah, you're
Thursday.
You're shouting.
I'm also being very loud. I'm so sorry, people. I get very animated when I get high. It was an average Thursday. That's usually when we go because I have off work, right? It's your average Thursday in middle of nowhere, PA with a dispensary. We were driving over, I think did we go to Honky Bucket beforehand?
Yes.
And you placed that was when I got weed. It was the time after that. We were just picking up for you. Anyway, well, getting distracted.
Oh, by the way, the Honky Bucket thing was, I can't remember her name on TikTok, but it was a TikToker.
I think you remember, I remember you showing me one of her videos.
Yeah. And her and her husband called it that, and that just kind of became an inside joke.
Yeah.
That we kind of used.
It just stuck. But yeah, we turn into the dispensary, and lo and behold, there are
3 cops.
Yeah, not like state police. They were townies.
Yeah, they're local townships.
And they came in, and then I was like, babe, be careful. I'm going to lock the door. Not because I don't trust the guy. I don't trust the officers arresting the guy.
Yeah, the guy looked like he got into either, like, a really, really bad panic attack or had some sort of breakdown or something, because he was hyperventilating, and I felt really bad for him.
So I had the fleeting moment to, like, I'm in my car. I have my phone hooked up. I could play Bad Boys and then roll the windows down, turn the music up. I could be that person, or I can leave my windows up, lock my car, and use the police scanner app on my phone. It wasn't anything crazy. I think, yeah, he might have just, freaked out. Something happened, and they were taking him in for harassment, probably because it's unfortunate if he was having some sort of mental problem. They didn't actually, do something more for him.
Yeah.
But he was causing some kind of ruckus.
Along the kind of lines of, like, police and cannabis, I should probably pull up my phone and double check this, but someone at work told me that State College itself, pertaining to downtown mostly, but the Borough State College, has decriminalized. Essentially, it's less of a serious charge. In 2016, under State College ordinance, police can charge a student of possession with 30 grams or less of marijuana with a summary offense. Carries a fine of $250. But while the ordinances allow police flexibility to bring a lesser charge, it does not legalize marijuana. That's back in 2016. I'm trying to...
While you're looking, this reminds me of whenever I went to Robert Morris University. They did a similar thing where it was like, hey, knock it off, because, like, the campus police were kind of like we joked they weren't actually, police. They're just campus cops, haha, college joke. But no, literally, like, it was a private university, so they could basically set what the, like, rules and boundaries they wanted and stuff. And since they had their own police force, that they could enforce different things to a different extent by themselves. But the thing is, they became their own separate entity, which is kind of a good thing if you're a stupid college student who gets, like, in trouble with weed. Not talking from experience here or anything, but if a certain student was to get in trouble with marijuana on campus, it was more of a, hey, are you alright? We're going to make sure you're alright first. Don't worry about, like, saying anything. We're not going to pry any information. We're not going to ask you where you got it. Give us what you have left, which that was I was more irritated about.
Didn't you talk about this last episode?
No, I touched on a subject of be smart in college, but I'm going more into depth the actual, like, what happened. Them basically decriminalizing it on campus because it's private property. It's a private college. They have their own private police.
Yeah.
So...
But I did find it's basically, it's a limit. You're allowed, as long as you have under basically that 30 grams or less, you just get hit with a small fine. If it's around the 30 grams or higher, you're going to get hit with that big chunk of change.
Because they're going to think that's intent to sell at that point.
Yep.
But
or paraphernalia, too.
They can always hit you with paraphernalia. But my thing I was trying to say was kind of a similar story of, they get sick, a long roundabout way of saying is they're getting sick of nailing college kids for weed. Which, cool, we're winning. If we're having them change those laws as the community of pot smokers, not saying like you and me, because we're not college age, obviously. Well, we are, but we're not in college. If the community of the weed smokers is helping push this law from enough of them getting in trouble, and just the cops don't want to deal with it anymore, like, still, progress is progress. Forward progress is forward progress. I'm sorry, I just knocked my weed over. Ugh. Yeah, forward progress is forward progress.
Yeah, and honestly, it kind of worries me a little because it's that whole, is it going to become a problem before it gets better thing?
Yeah.
We're seeing that on a small scale around colleges. I hope it doesn't become a big scale issue for it to work, or to actually get legalized.
Yeah.
Where was I going next? Oh yeah, there is hearsay. I haven't seen any articles on it. But it is hearsay that Amazon is trying to get weed legalized, specifically Jeff Bezos. That he is in full support of cannabis becoming recreational across the entire country.
And the reason I feel like he's saying this and pushing so hard is because he has those fancy Amazon drones. And if he's like, oh, it's legal now? Hey, guys, I funded this, so, like, can you give me this special card? Because, you know, it's Bezos. Give me this special thing saying that I'm special, that I can, like, deliver it through Amazon, and he's going to have his own dispensary through Amazon. So you're not even going to have to go to your local dispensary. You can just be like, oh, Daddy Bezos, deliver me some weed, thanks. And it'll be at your door in, like, 20 minutes with their drones.
Fuck Jeff Bezos. I'm saying that right here, right now. Fuck him.
Fuck Jeff Bezos.
Fuck him. Because
you have more than enough money. This is just another roundabout scheme of you trying to get more money.
Exactly. He shouldn't be as rich as he should be. And if he is, I don't want to go into, like, this whole debate thing.
I told you we should have never let him back whenever he went out into space. Should have just fucking closed off the atmosphere. No thanks. That could have destroyed our problem right there.
I need to get Professor Farnsworth's Diandidium.
Nobody wants to literally eat the rich, though. That's the way you do it. You trap them in space.
No, I didn't get a chance to watch the YouTube video yet. But somebody sent me a YouTube video to watch of Neil deGrasse Tyson dunking on our president, Biden, on his reefer madness ideology and his understanding of cannabis being a gateway drug. You're not seeing my air quotes, but just imagine Dr. Evil. Gateway drug.
For those of you who don't get that reference, please do yourself a favor and go watch any of the Austin Powers movies. Any of them. Doesn't matter which one. Pick one. I like Goldmember. Watch that one.
Gateway drug. But yeah, so apparently he pulls up all the science and everything of it, which I know is going to be beautiful, because, come on, it's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful public face for science, and I love it. Now, there is an interesting thought that I had a second ago with that little, like, half a second pause.
Yeah.
Cannabis is a gateway drug, but not to other drugs.
To the fridge.
No, well, that too. But to the jail system.
Yeah.
Because how many wrong president, Nixon, one of his assistants started the war on drugs. He admitted to starting the war on drugs with Nixon to break up the hippie community and the African American community who were actually taking a stand for civil rights and everything. It was a way to break up their communities and stop them. And Reagan, I feel like Reagan just made it worse. Then again, that was most of his presidency. But yeah, it's a gateway to the private jail system, which is fucking bullshit. First off, we shouldn't privatize our fucking prison system. That was just stupid.
Yeah.
Second of all, it really is, though, because, like, just think of how much they can just slap onto you. Possession. Just sitting in a car with it running because it's cold outside. Possession. Driving under the influence, which in some states like Virginia adds reckless driving and endangerment.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also have paraphernalia possibly added on top of that.
If you're smoking out of a pipe, you have anything with residue in it for the car, they can sniff the car, they can basically take anything they want from you. And I remember hearing this, and I'm not sure if it's true, and I don't think it is, but for every piece of paraphernalia, the fine increases.
Oh, yeah. In this state, it does.
Yeah, so if, say, you have your grinder, you have your bowl, you have your lighter that's got a little bit of residue on it, that's 3 pieces of paraphernalia they're going to slap you with on top of that, but keep going.
Which is a couple $100 per paraphernalia in itself, which is ridiculous. So...
Also, if you're sitting in your car in a parking lot, they can catch you for trespassing at that point, too.
True. But here's the kicker, though, too. Because the moment you go in jail, right? Guess who starts getting paid? The prison system. So the bail bond guy gets paid. The person who's got to put you into the system and take your fingerprints starts getting paid. The camera guy who takes your mugshot starts getting paid. All the officers and everything. All of this starts generating money for the private prison system, and the state gets a cutback by basically paying these, in a lot of states, these prisoners who are getting paid pennies to the dollar to do road work, pick up trash, do stuff for the state, and barely get any money.
Instead of the state prison system, it sounds like the state labor system, because it's like, if you want to take a stretch, because it's basically what these people are being treated like, the state slave system.
Oh, yeah.
It's slave labor. Like, you need to, no matter who it is that's working, needs to be getting paid a fair wage, which at your state is your state minimum. That's what they consider a fair wage. That's a whole other rant on itself.
But it's because of the 13th Amendment, the way it's written.
So these people shouldn't be working for pennies on the dollar. They're creating money and creating profit for themselves, for nobody else other than themselves. That's the only thing that benefits. And it's this big circle jerk of who can make me the most money. I'm going to stick my hand in their back pocket.
Well, yeah, and that's all this country is basically run on. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of other countries too, but I feel like our country is the shining example of corruption in the government and corporations running things. Now, interesting thing, have you seen the DUI advertisements?
No.
So, I'm not going to describe the video in super detail because I don't want to give these guys any money.
Yeah.
But basically, you know the old drunk driving commercials where they were warning you about, DUIs and stuff and everything?
Like the ones that are like are they scare tactic-y? Is that the ones you're talking about?
No, they're just more informative. It's like the click it or ticket kind of ones. Yeah. The ones where they didn't end up in a crash, but like the checkpoint ads they used to have for drinking beer.
Yeah.
They had this one for cannabis.
Interesting.
For cannabis. I'm like, how? There's only one way I could think of that you can actually get, as a sobriety test, other than doing a sobriety test, which when you're stoned isn't always that hard.
Because depending what you're smoking, you can be hyper-focused and pass it perfectly.
Or if you're like me and are still recuperating from a head injury, that your sense of balance isn't always that great. And if you're on a bad knee or ankle and you're trying to do that one-legged stand, you're not going to stand up straight because that hurts.
Yeah.
Now, there was a comedian sketch I saw on I think I was scrolling through a Facebook video, and it was basically a cop. It's a sketch show. I don't know it's a Canadian one. I didn't preference who it was. I couldn't find it in the comments. But it was kind of Monty Python, Saturday Night Live kind of style sketch comedy.
Yeah.
And a cop pulls over this couple who's sitting in the car and goes, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And they're like, "No, why?" "Well, you seem to be going about 20 kilometers under the speed limit. And they rolled the window down. A big plume of smoke comes out, too. And he's like, "So I'm going to do a marijuana sobriety test on you guys." "Okay. Hi, how are you?" No, it wasn't. It was "How high are you?" And they would respond, "Hi, how are ya?" And I'm like, that is the dumbest joke I've heard. I've heard it multiple times in different situations. And it's accurate.
Yeah.
Because I get it. I screwed it up trying to tell the joke.
That's like the Cheech and Chong sound that's going around freaking TikTok. That's like, how high are you? No, Aquarius.
Wasn't that from that 70s show?
Yeah, it's when, was it?
It was
Tommy
Cheech?
Chong.
Tommy
no,
Chong.
It was Chong. It was Tommy Chong that was on that 70s show, yeah. How high are you? No, Aquarius.
Oh, man.
Or is it like, are you stoned? No, Aquarius. That's what it is. Are you stoned? No, Aquarius.
But, like... Because, like, I heard that they're trying to make a breathalyzer for cannabis.
You can't do that.
Like, how is that going to work? How is that scientifically going to work?
The only way that they would be able to do any sort of cannabis sobriety test that I can think of is going to be completely unhygienic. Because you're going to have to stick somebody and have some sort of instant test that shows you how strong the cannabinoids are in their blood right this second.
Yeah, dude, the thing I could think of is, like, they'll do, like, the cotton swab test.
Yeah.
Where they, like, just swab the inside of your mouth and then, like, put it in this chemical that changed colors. But those could be faked really
Those could be
easy.
faked. And number two, that doesn't show present use, just present use. Because they do drug tests like that. Where if you need to get a drug test for a job, they need to piss test you, they can swab you, they can hair follicle you. But that residue is still going to be in your mouth, so you're going to pop positive even if you smoked almost a month ago.
True. But also, that hair follicle thing can last 10 years in your system. It could be in your hair for 10 years.
Yeah.
That doesn't prove you're driving under the influence.
Exactly, because there's no way to pin it down at this point. If you blow into a typical breathalyzer, it measures the alcohol in your breath. That is how much is relative to what's in your blood, because that's what's pumping through your body. It kind of gets just spurted everywhere, okay? You can't do that with cannabis. You could smell someone's breath and be like, I think you were smoking pot. But that's just suspicion. There's nothing to actually concrete to go on. But that's the same thing like people with jobs. They pull that at jobs too. Oh, you're not supposed to be under the influence here. Okay, what are you going to do if I come in on the influence? Because you don't have a breathalyzer. You smell alcohol in my breath. Okay, cool. What if I had something that tasted like that? Or similar? Or like a non-alcoholic, like those,
like non-alcoholic beer? It still smells and tastes like beer?
Yeah. Or like you had a cake that had alcohol baked into it, and the alcohol burnt off, it still tastes like at Mom's wedding cake.
Yeah, our leftover wedding cake. Oh, we might eat some of that. We're so high. Oh, that's going to taste so good. Anyway,
same deal.
Food.
Same deal of they can't technically really prove it, so you can't technically really get in trouble, but they're going to do it anyway because they think they can get away with it.
But you can also refuse it. I'm not a lawyer, but if I remember correctly, they can't force you to do it without a warrant. Look up your local laws. Look up, obviously, laws on that. I am not a lawyer in any means. You
didn't even play one on a TV show?
No, not at all. But, yeah, it's just these bullcrap ways of, like, people just getting arrested for bullcrap.
It's because, like, that goes back to that privatized prison system. They're gonna raise hell if they don't have that private prison in a certain capacity. So they need dumb shit to throw people in there for.
Wow, we've been on a high horse this episode.
You warned people. My hair is an unnatural color, and I'm going on my social justice high horse. Like, you go, girl. Like, we were prepared for this. And then I jumped up there with you, because my hair is not orange and black. So.
Yeah, it's really cool. So there is... So we talked a lot about the weed side. Is there any LGBT stuff you wanted to talk about or bring up? Any recent news or anything you've heard? Or just issues you've seen?
I don't really feel like I've seen a whole lot. Just the normal, like, stuff, not, like, news, but, like, social happenings on, like, social media sites. Like, trends and stuff like that. On TikTok, it's the same stuff of, like, a bunch of the trans women that I follow on TikTok. Their comments are still littered with those people of, like, not a real woman, this, that, and the next, which I've seen get better. It hasn't been as frequent. I see my trans siblings on there being like, this person is horribly rude, or like making fun of their horrible comments, stuff like that. So I feel like things are getting a little bit better. Slowly but surely stuff seemed to, or I've just pulled myself out of that part of social media, I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably. Our son, as we like to call him, our cat, has just patted Alex's arm, being like, "Can I come up? Can I join you guys?
I want to be on the podcast."
One thing I'm seeing, and I don't want this to be like a weed and trans thing, it's just there's a lot of trans issues coming into light right now, with everyone kind of erasing trans men from the conversation of the horrendous stuff that's going on with Texas's abortion bill right now.
Yeah.
And it's horrible in some of these states that are doing this stuff. And whenever people try bringing it up, they're always met with transphobia and bigotry. I feel like I had something else I was going to say about lesbians. And something about them I saw earlier this morning, but between work and how high I am right now, I totally forgot.
It's fine. And put it in the book.
It's in the book. Oh, he's purring up a storm.
He is purring. I wonder if you could hear him on the mic. That'd be adorable.
There's one thing I did want to talk about is the comparison of being high, feeling gender euphoria, and compare those two, because you and me are both under the trans umbrella.
Yes.
And I know you've experienced gender euphoria, and that's actually how I started realizing, oh, I might not be a guy, because I didn't recognize gender dysphoria at first. Looking back, I do recognize times when I was a lot younger, like even preteen, but it was gender euphoria that first hit me, and I'm like, oh, wow, So, I wanted to compare those, because I'm not sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, I'm not sure there was a feeling other than just serotonin from a partner in gay relationships, or queer relationships, I would say, even. But we could compare that to that uplifting serotonin-inducing feeling with, like, a relationship, even, too, if you wanted to.
I like where you were going with that comparison of, like, gender euphoria to, like, being high, because those are both, I feel like, fleeting moments of feelings that don't feel real in the moment, and you look back and you're like, that actually felt really good, and I understand what that feeling is.
True. One's obviously a lot more fleeting than the other.
Yeah. But what are you on about?
I was trying to stop myself from laughing.
But, to me at least, feeling high is it feels very, like, calming. It's not a really, like, bubbly, peppy, energetic. I mean, I don't smoke the energizers because of my anxiety. That sends me into a panic attack really bad. I actually swore off weed for a while because of that. And, it's a very, like, down-to-earth, like, I feel level-headed feeling, and, like, I'm connected with stuff around me. Whereas gender euphoria is kind of like the golden ray of sunshine. Like, I feel like the spotlight's on me. I feel warm and I feel tingly. I feel excited. I feel like this is comfortable. This is happy, and it's a bubbly kind of staticky feeling instead of that calm, even keel of being high. And like, yeah, you're happy and you're high and you're feeling good, but it's like comparing like the saxophone in a jazz piece and how it's kind of slow to like the snare drum in your favorite song that gets you pumped.
I can see that depending on the strain. Some of the strains I have smoked are definitely like high up, feeling like, I mean, like the strain I smoked this morning, from my vape pen, I felt like I was in a Saturday morning cartoon, just walking down the street, just, like swinging my arms up and down, whistling a tune, like super happy and ecstatic. And I feel like that is similar when I smoke those type of strains. But I get where you're coming from for the more relaxing kind of like even keeling strains. The feeling for me with the strains that kind of do make me all bubbly is different of, one makes me, now the cat's on me, one makes me really happy and in a way where I'm like feeling good about myself. I'm feeling good about my outlook on things. Ow. Don't scratch me. If you want pets, I'll pet you, but don't scratch me. What was I saying? Yeah, well, it's like really, really, really uppy high, kind of. I feel like I'm in an old, like, rubber hose, whistling Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie, cartoon.
Yeah.
And the other one is such a feeling of rush, in a sense of, like, it feels like hot water pouring down, but it's coming from my heart and my stomach. And it's almost like crying. Like I feel like I'm gonna cry. Like watching like one of those like you like calling it like sad porn, crying porn. It's like watching those videos of like people in the military coming home and surprising their family members, like that feeling, but amplified times 100. But it's so fast. It's like maybe at most I've had was 5 minutes.
I remember my first experience with like real strong gender euphoria was when I bought my first binder and I put it on and just seeing I was flat and it's just like that's me in the mirror. I like that person that's in the mirror over there. That's a feeling I never got to feel a lot of that, and you're right. It's so fleeting, and like you can almost not believe that you feel this happy and this content with yourself until it's gone.
And I'm wondering if that's because of the different chemicals that these things induce in the brain. Because I feel like the gender euphoria is more serotonin based. And now I'm totally talking out of my ass right now. Fair warning, again, like I said in the last episode, neither of us are experts in anything.
No.
But serotonin is the one that creates that welling feeling, right? And it's dopamine that's the feeling created by when you're smoking cannabis. It creates dopamine. You're the one that went the medical stuff.
Also, the feeling of gender euphoria could also be a reaction from adrenaline too, because
true,
it's just that rush of that. Oh my gosh! Like I feel so good. I feel so hyper. I feel so amazing. Like kind of like riding the high from doing a big tall roller coaster or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the adrenaline side of it, but like they're very different fleetings. And I was trying to think so hard about like topics where I was like both weed and LGBT stuff.
Yeah.
But I think we're just gonna be like, that's our main focus, but we're gonna call shit out. We're just gonna talk about life here and there. We're gonna, share funny stories that happened to us recently. And, just kind of be a little loose with it, but still have a message within the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of what we're doing for our podcast, we want to talk about our Skittles today.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a Skittle?
Do you have a Skittle?
I do have a Skittle. My Skittle today is gonna be those guys over there at Pop Brothers at Law. I'm gonna have my wife link your Instagram, since that's how I found you, in the notes of this show. I had their thing pulled up. Here it is. They are POT, P-O-T _brothers _ law, no capitalized, on Instagram. And I believe they're also over on TikTok. I'm not quite sure what their username is. They post a bunch of funny videos, informative stuff. They do some meme creating. Yeah, you guys are awesome since I found you. Much love from Pennsylvania, from the East Coast to the West Coast. I hope you guys listen to this. But yeah, you guys are my Skittles this app.
I don't know if he has an Instagram or not, because I'm not that close with him. But, my Skittle is your friend, Jeremy.
Yeah? For our baby, we're getting another cat.
He has a kitten who's a few months old, who unfortunately needs a new home because of his daughter?
Yeah, his daughter is very, very allergic.
And
they didn't find this out until like a month after they brought him home. The baby had been around the cats more. And yeah, he's looking to rehome this beautiful tabby cat.
And I really appreciate him. Like, a lot of people would just be like, oh, even a little inconvenience thing with cats, and like, well, it needs a new home, or we can't take him with him, so we're just going to leave him on the side of the road and let it go feral. And that's sad. That is sad. And he is tore up about this cat, because he wanted to give it a home, and he feels bad, but he's also got to make sure his baby's okay.
Yeah.
So... And
I watched, like, him on Facebook. At first, it was, like, a couple word sentence of, like, hey, I feel really bad, but we found out that our baby's allergic to the cat. And then the next couple hours later, it's like, is anybody looking for a 7-month-old cat? The next day, hey guys, I can get you pictures if you want. I feel really bad about this, but we can't keep this cat. And then he posts pictures yesterday, and I was just like, my heart for that cat and for him. And like, I'm glad we're doing both of them a favor.
Yeah, and plus, Bear could use a friend.
It's gonna be interesting trying to record this podcast with two cats if they both get the zoomies.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. What are we looking like? Do we have time for another topic?
Oh yeah, we're only at like 47 mark.
Oh, okay.
We have time. This podcast will be as long as we want it to be. I'd rather not go super over an hour though.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of other topics. You know?
Yeah.
Anything fun happened at work recently?
I've been telling some people where I work with about my podcast, or I'd mention in passing just, yeah, I'm gonna, what are you gonna do tonight, Alex? Well, I'm gonna, go home and smoke and record an episode of my pod. And you're like, you have a podcast? What's it about? Like, tell me, and whatever. And like, this is pretty cool. And like, everybody who I talked about it seems super cool about it yet. I don't know if anybody's listened to it yet. Kind of embarrassed a little bit if they did. Nobody at my other job knows about it yet. So that's cool.
I've honestly been thinking about who we can, down the road, obviously get as guests on this podcast.
Well, I, for one, would love to talk to our dispensary if they talk to us.
Yes, I would love to
that would be fun.
Talk to the pharmacist of the dispensary, the owner of the dispensary, because they're a chain. There's 3 locations.
Yeah.
Or our friend Natalie.
Yeah.
Who used to be in the Hot Topic.
She's pretty cool.
She's real cool. I'd love to have her, or any of those, or all 3 of those.
We need to talk to your mom. Your mom's new in the cannabis community.
Mom would be a great one to have on here, mostly because she literally got her medical card a month ago. And it's kind of weird to see how growing up she was very much of weed. The weed is a bad drug. Weed's like horrible. Not the reefer madness level, but the dare level. Like, weed will just make you okay with being bored and everything.
The fact, it is okay to be bored. Dare made that sound like a bad thing.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. It was around that level.
Yeah,
I think it was
that
more
level.
from my dad than anything.
A few years ago, Dare actually took weed off of their list of drugs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know if you knew that or not, but yeah. So I can't remember what his name was. The mascot for Dare.
Oh, the lion guy?
The lion guy. We didn't let him down. At least I know.
I really didn't care.
I thought it was kind of cool. Whatever. Every teacher at my freaking high school that was planning it had Dare fucking license plates.
Really?
Like the ones you pay like $500 to the state for.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, those things are expensive.
I also want to get, the current director of the Sexuality and Gender Diversity Resource Center on campus here at Penn State. Now, this used to be known as the community's grown, it used to be the GL group. The gay and lesbian group. Then they added the B. Then the AIDS epidemic happened, and because of the lesbian community and helping men, they swapped the G and the L, and that's why the L's first. Fun fact. And then they added the T, and then, so on and so forth. So eventually it just became the gender and sexuality diversity, or swap it, reverse it, however it's actually organized. And I thought that was really cool, and I really want to talk to the director of it. Because I think it would be interesting. Was that a knock on the door?
No, that was the neighbors upstairs.
Oh. I thought it would be really interesting to have her on the podcast.
That would be cool.
Another one I would actually like to try finding. I still gotta message the guy who operates and runs the Green Bridge Society.
We would love to talk to him. That'd be cool.
I thought it'd be cool.
He's a chill dude.
He really is. And I also recently found out that Tom Wolfe allowed 9 Pennsylvania universities to conduct medical marijuana research in this state. And I want to find out if there's anyone doing that research at Penn State.
We could be in the research study.
We could be a part of the research study. I want to actually interview them, though, about what
that would be really cool.
What kind of experiments they're running.
Why not both? Why that would be really cool. We could talk to them and be like, "Yo, we'll be guinea pigs. We already smoke weed. What do you want us to do? Smoke more weed? Okay. Are you providing snacks? That's the real question." That'd be fun. That'd be so much fun.
That would be fun.
So, you all right?
Son, fun, done. I'm high.
Yeah, stick a fork in her. She's done. She's toasted.
I can't think of anything else to talk about, honestly, right now.
Well, I guess this brings our episode to a kind of natural end. We want to plug ourselves before the end of the episode.
Oh yeah, I actually got the podcast and Instagram now.
Oh, we got an Insta.
So
I need to tag that in my Insta bio, so you can go from there in our podcast Insta bio to our Insta bios.
So again, my Insta, or my Instagram, or the gram as some people call it, is High Flying Rayven. HIGH, flying with no G, Rayven, RAYVEN. Our podcast Instagram is Smoking Out the Closet. Just at Smoking Out the Closet, all one word. Everything spelled correctly. And I had to double check because I'm slightly bad at spelling, and I had to double check if I spelled closet right.
And I finally made my weed Insta. I know I talked about that a little bit before here, because I shouted out my guys, the Weed Brothers at Law. But my Instagram is 420NB, number 420 NB, spelled ENBY, no capitalization, no punctuation, no exclamation points, nothing like that, nothing fancy.
So this has been another, our second episode of Smoking Out the Closet. Again, I'm Rayven.
I'm Alex. We hope you enjoyed listening to us ramble this episode.
And our little high horse we were on. But we'll hope to see you guys again in the next episode.
See you next episode.
Bye.
Bye-bye.